All right, today we're going to be taking a look at the top 25 non-sports card sales on eBay for the month of July 2024. Some of the criteria: card is before 2000, no duplicates, although if there's a variant or an autograph, that's okay. And taking a look at both graded and raw sales. All right, up first we have Sea Raiders bringing back the loot. Now this is the highest graded for this card. There's actually two of them, and this sold for $875. I bring that up because there's a lot of people that I believe are building the set and going after the registry. Up next, a Mars Attack checklist. Mars Attack, classic non-sports set. In fact, they also made a movie around it. I'm thinking this is the third best card in the set after Prize Captive #1 as well. Could be a little bit off, but it's definitely one of the marquee cards within the set. This 6 sold for $908.46. Up in the number 23 spot, Blackbeard, card #1 in the Sea Raiders set. This is a 3. This is possibly the second Blackbeard card. There's a pretty big gap after his Allen and Ginter. There could be some other foreign issues that I'm just not super aware of. If not, this is his second card, and it's priced pretty similarly to his Allen Ginter. This 3 sold for $950. In fact, a lot of people prefer the Sea Raider over the Ginter, although my preference, I'd rather have the Ginter. I don't have either of these cards, but just to mention that side of things. All right, Superman number 67. There's a lot of Supermans. I believe the higher numbers in this set tend to be a little bit scarcer, so they do go for a little bit of a premium. There's 13 graded higher for number 67 out of a 5, and this sold for $1,025. Up next, 1962 Mars Attack number 14. I actually really like the imagery on this one. There's only 5 PSA 9s, so this is a pretty highly graded one, and this sold for $1,100. Now we're jumping into the top 20. Up first, the 1966 Batman. There's a crazy sale on the 66 Batman in a 9 a few months ago. I want to say it was through Heritage. But the 7 sold for $1,325. I know this one's off-centered, but this tends to happen a lot within the set, and specifically this card. Prize Captive. This is the card I think of when you mention the set Mars Attack. It's just such a popular card. This 7 sold for $1,499. 1997 Skybox Mr. Freeze. Actually, this was the Arnold Schwarzenegger autograph, and this sold for $1,500. Here's another Batman from 1966, but this has Adam West. You can no longer get an Adam West autograph as he passed away in 2017. There's only 20 of these that are graded. Now, this is probably one of the worst ones you can find condition-wise, and this sold for $1,548. What would you rather have, the Adam West autograph or the PSA 7? Let me know down below in the comments. This is a Clint Eastwood. I believe this is 1962. He actually recently did a private signing. I want to say recently, like being in the last year or whatnot. He was charging about $1,000 an autograph, if I remember correctly. I actually sold my Clint Eastwood. It was another 1962. What was it, Barrett, if I remember correctly? I sold it to someone going to that private signing. Got a little bit of premium for it because it was a nice card and needed it pretty soon. But man, I kind of regret selling that because this is a crazy expensive sale, and the Barrett is a tougher card to find, and mine was a 4, so a 4 or 4.5. But regardless, this one sold for $1,650. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a few other Eastwood cards that are signed that pop up for sale within the next few years. Superman #1, the most popular card in the set by far. This one, which is in pretty shoddy condition, you can see there's a ton of areas with paper loss on the front. It sold for $2,000. Also is the MK qualifier, which I assume is something wrong with the back, as someone marked on it, but I don't have that picture ready. In the 14th spot, Princess Leia Star Wars sticker. This was a set of 55 stickers. This 9 sold for $2,000. In 1989, Rodden to the core. This pre-presidential card. Also, in my opinion, there's a pretty high election bump. And this one sold for $2,236. 1933 Sea Raiders, probably the second most popular card in the set. This is a short print, also, I believe. And on the bilingual version, this is the third highest graded. This sold for $23.27. But if I remember correctly, like either this copy, like in a 4, or something very similar has sold, and I've covered in other auctions. Like 99% sure it's been covered before. So just as a little bit of a heads up. Number 11 is a postcard signed by Teddy Roosevelt. This is really sweet. Teddy Roosevelt has a ton of postcards in the early 1900s, especially since that hobby ballooned back then. But very few are signed, and this sold for $2,450. I really, really like this postcard. But before we jump into the top 10, I want to go over a few honorable mentions with you guys. So up first, a Praying Abraham Lincoln. This is his earliest card that can be graded right now. It's somewhere produced in the 1860s. Sold price is $600. There's still quite a few of these out there, at least in my own personal opinion. 1966 Batman the Joker. This is a 10. But you'll find that in this set. You'll find it with a lot of playing cards because they don't have corner damage as much because of the rounded corners. So that's why you tend to see a lot more 8s, 9s, and 10s, even with vintage sets. I could go all the way back into the 1800s and 1900s with playing cards, and you'll see those in high grade. Horrors of War near complete set. It's actually missing 25 cards. The 281 through 288, which I believe is a run of short prints. I'm sure there's a few other short prints and things like that are missing out of here, but this one sold for $1,100. Three Stooges. This one is actually missing the checklist. The dealer mentioned that and sold this near complete set for $2,000. A Garbage Pail Kids Unopened Wax Box. You're going to see a ton of Garbage Pail a little bit later. There's like 3 or 4 that make the top 10. But this box itself from 1985, Series 1, it sold for $2,025. Wolverine and Venom. I apologize for the third bullet point. But this was produced in 1996. There's 6 cards, and it's sold for $2,250. I'm not familiar with these at all. Again, like superheroes and comics, that's way outside my realm. So if you do know something about these, please let me know, because I would have never expected these to sell for $2,250. Another Marvel over here, X-Men 1993 promo sheet, $24.95 on this. Again, let me know how scarce this is. I saw the sale and had to put it in here because it was pretty high. And then a 1977 Star Wars complete set, including 11 stickers. Seller said they're all PSA 7. This sold for $3,500. Garbage Pails over here. I think this was Series 1, if I remember correctly. 8.8 average grade across everything, and 88 cards between PSA 7 and 10. This sold for $25,995. All right, let's take a look at our top 10. Oh, real quick before, you can look over here. Nasty Nick is in a 10, which that's a pretty expensive card. So I assume some of these 10s, they get expensive quite fast. All right, let's take a look at this top 10. Another Superman over here, number 62. Mid-grade copy, 20 graded higher. This sold for $2,500. Wow. Another Superman, number 32 in a 7. There's 9 PSA 8s, and then there's 15 PSA 7s. This one sold for $25.19. Three Stooges, this is the checklist, the card I believe that one dealer did not have. I have to double check, but this one in a 9 sold for $3,430. Superman, once again, card number 26 and 8, second highest graded. There is one 8.5. There's 8 8s. This one sold for $3,500. Potty Scotty, this one, first year Garbage Pail in a 10, sold for $3,888. Then we have Mad Mike, $4,000 in a PSC 10. Dead Ted, $4,999 in a PSA 10. And Adam Bomb, this one sold for $6,333 in a 10. Second, we have a 1990 Marvel Universe, one of these hologram cards over here. Someone mentioned once that these are very tough to find in high grade. This one sold for $6,500. And lastly, Superman, the last card in the set in a 4.5 at $6,500. Did any of these sales impress you this week? I was shocked how many Superman cards have been selling. But I know dealers that had Superman card number 1, and every time they put it out in their showcase, they have sold those, including one show. I think a dealer mentioned he sold 4 of those. But regardless, those are the top 25 sales in July. By the way, I am making other non-sports videos and alternative sports, so if anyone does want to help me on some sets, I would appreciate it. So feel free to reach out. And then thank you to our channel members, Giles, Alaska, Picker, and Aaron Herbert. All right, I will see you guys in another video. If you want to watch other non-sports top sales, I have those linked down below.